Okay.
Right.
Okay. Great. This is Brian Johnson with Finance and Commerce newspaper. Pleased to be joined here today with Scott Stallman, president of Dunwoody College of Technology, right here in Minneapolis. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the programs that Dunwoody offers in the construction trades and some of the trends you're seeing with enrollment and things of that nature. But Scott, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
Pleasure to be here. Doing great. Thanks, Brian.
So tell me a little bit about your role at Dunwoody as president, and how long have you been in this position, and what is your mission there?
Well, I've been at Dunwoody for about almost 4 years now. I started as the provost at Dunwoody, or academic title is vice president of academic and student affairs. I did that job for 3.5 years under previous president Rich Wagner, who served for a total of 15 years as president. And when he retired at the end of June, I took over the position as the president of the college, the 11th president of the college. And Dunwoody's a unique college. Our stated mission is that we change lives by building opportunities for graduates to have successful careers, to develop into leaders and entrepreneurs, and to engage in the better performance of life's duties. By and large, the way that we see ourselves in kind of the higher ed landscape is we prepare students for high pay, high demand fields. That's that's our niche. That's kind of our what distinguishes us from, I think, a lot of other colleges out there, is that we are laser focused on that return on investment that I think so many students and parents are looking for now in their higher education. So we want to make sure that our programs lead to lucrative careers for our students, and that's where we're kind of situated in the higher ed landscape.
And tell me a little bit about where you've served previously. It sounds like you've been involved in higher education leadership roles for 18 years in working in
Yeah,
the
over
States.
20 now. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. Make me a little younger than I am. But yeah, it's been over 20 now. It's surprising. It's been a great 20 years. I've worked at a variety of different colleges, from public colleges. Way back when I was an undergrad, my first job was at the University of Missouri as a summer orientation leader. I and I've worked in a variety of different roles in higher education, from a career services director, and then I got into academic affairs at a community college outside of Chicago. I was the assistant dean of career services there. And those were a lot of programs that prepared students for the workforce. Worked at private nonprofits, liberal arts, and I've also spent the last more than 10 years at public community colleges, 2-year schools in both Illinois and Texas. As the chief academic officer at Lone Star College in Tomball, Texas, before I came here to Minnesota. But my wife and I are both from the Midwest. Grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in St. Louis, and we're Midwesterners. So when I saw Dunwoody had this position open as provost, I had learned about Dunwoody in higher ed history courses. You learn about Dunwoody. People who are in doctoral programs and education learn about Dunwoody because it's really, in many ways, the birthplace of technical education in America. And it's a unique place. When I saw it, I did more research, and boy, it is proven to be a tremendous place to be. Growing enrollments, high interest in our programs, and Georgetown University did a study on return on investment and found that Dunwoody has the highest return on investment in the state after 10 years of being employed, which is unreal, really, for college that has a lot of 2-year programs and a handful of 4-year programs. I think a lot of times when people think about colleges that end in very, lucrative careers in the state, I'm not sure that a lot of folks think of Dunwoody, but they definitely should, because that's our focus, and it's a great place to be for that reason.
Well, you talked about your experience, and I've been at this job actually for 26 years. And so I'm kind of an old guy, but there's one thing that I've learned covering construction: a lot of trends come and go, but there's one consistent theme, from day one that is there's just demand for skilled tradespeople in the industry. That was true 26 years ago, and it's true today from what I understand. So tell me a little bit more about how Dunwoody is positioned to work with the industry to meet the demand for workers in the construction field and to in some of the key programs that you see as growth areas.
So we have construction skilled trades, and those are highly enrolled, certainly programs at Dunwoody. A lot of students come here who want to be an electrician or a construction project manager, certainly surveyors, sort of thing. We also have a thriving manufacturing skilled trades departments, automation, robotics, advanced manufacturing programs, as well as we have 4-year engineering school. We have an engineering school that has mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and computer engineering. Those are 4-year bachelor's programs, which I think a lot of times people don't even realize that Dunwoody does. We also have a school of design where we train architects, bachelor's in architecture, where students can move in and take the exam and become licensed architects. The path to architecture. It's a bachelor's program. There's not another one of those in the state. We have that program both online and in person. We're one of 2 in the entire country that offer that program online. So we also train interior designers and graphic designers. So we've got design, engineering, manufacturing skilled trades, and construction skilled trades. And all of those fields are kind of like the way that you described construction. They all have labor shortages and have for a very long time. When we were founded, William Hood Dunwoody gave money, and his wife Kate gave money to this college in their will to start this college because it was in 1914, and we're still in the very changing country. Advanced manufacturing was happening. I mean, General Mills was going, and there were lots of jobs in manufacturing, and he recognized that, wow, we don't have enough skilled labor, and he recognized that then, and he founded Dunwoody as a place for everyone. Very progressive idea at the time, regardless of color, creed, race, background, ethnicity, all of it. And he recognized that it was going to take all of us to solve this skilled trades labor shortage. Well, the thing is I think you put it very well. We continue to have a labor shortage in a lot of these areas, and we continue to have a shortage of women and people of color entering these fields. And there's a variety of historic and societal reasons for that. Those populations were denied access to a lot of these fields for a very long time in this country. And so we're doing all we can, working with our employer partners, to try to attract everyone to these very lucrative fields, because they are terrific fields, terrific careers. That's the primary kind of the big global directive that we have, working with our employer partners to help attract more people to this field. And we do this in a variety of different ways. For one thing, we make sure that our curriculums are up to date. So our industry partners have a big role in helping us maintain those curriculums and keeping them state of the industry, is what we call it, right? So if folks are using a different tool, then we need to know about it. And we engage those employer partners regularly to inform our curriculums. The other thing that we do is they are big supporters of the college. For one thing, they hire our graduates. Our graduates get hired about 95% in field, which is a very good percentage. That I'll tell you, Brian, that 5%, it's usually for something out of anyone's control. Somebody, their dad says, "Hey, come run the family bowling alley" or something, and they're like, "All right, I'm not going to do this thing anymore. I'm going to go run the family bowling alley." But it's very minimal. If you want a job after graduating from one of our programs, we help you find a good job. And a lot of our graduates have multiple job offers. Machine tool graduates, I think they have over 15 job offers per student. So they hire our graduates, but they also are supportive. They're generous. They help us develop scholarships, so to allay the cost of tuition for students, to try to attract more students to the field. We have a lot of outreach programs that have scholarships connected to it for marginalized communities to help bring more women to the trades, more people of color to the trades. And I also think that our employer partners help us in kind of eroding some of the stigmas and perceptions that existed um, about the skilled trades for a very long time. And I think that those things are starting to change because honestly, people around my age are looking around and saying, like, I'm going to be working for another, I don't know about you, Brian, but I'm going to be working for another 10, 15 years at least, right? And I look around at some of the folks that I went to high school with, and it's not the ones who got law degrees that are retiring. It's not the ones who, who are got into, even jobs like the ones I have that are retiring, it's honestly a lot of the ones that got jobs in the skilled trades. The electricians, folks like that, they got great careers. Some of them got into unions, some of them started their own companies, and they're retiring much earlier than a lot of the folks I went to high school with. And then I think it's giving parents some pause, like, hey, wait a second here. I was told that some of these jobs weren't the best jobs. And I was supposed to go to college for 4 years or for 6 years and get those jobs, and those would be the best. But they're looking around and being like, oh, wow. These folks are the ones that are doing well. It really made some great decisions. And so that's, I think, a part of how that stigma and that perception has been eroded. And also the fact that, you tour one of these manufacturing facilities around this area and you can eat off the floors, Brian. I mean, it's unreal. They're safe. Construction sites are unbelievably safe. The laser focus that companies like Mortensen and Krause Anderson and API Group have on safety and ensuring that these are safe jobs. They're jobs where people can thrive, and they're jobs that people can do for an extended period of time until they retire. They're all interested in making that happen for everyone who works there. So those are the primary ways, I'd say. I'm sorry, that was a long answer, Brent.
No, you covered a lot of ground there and some things I was meant to ask you about, so that's good. Is safety a big part of what you teach there at Dunwoody?
Oh, definitely. It's foundational. When you come into our machine tool shop, students are wearing protective eye gear. Any of our programs, it's first semester, first anytime you're entering any of our lab spaces, safety is the first thing that we teach, and we're very serious about it. Very serious.
And what kind of, you also touched on diversity, and are you starting to see more people of color and women enrolled in your courses?
Yeah, we are. It's slow and steady. We have a lot of work to do in that area, Brian, and it's going to take all the colleges that train these sorts of in these sorts of programs and industry to come together and really kind of. It's not just the stigma that skilled trades have of being kind of like, oh, you couldn't go to college, so you choose this field. It's not just that, it's the fact that a lot of these populations really weren't given access to these fields for a big part of our history, so they don't see themselves in the fields. And that takes time. And you see it, you even see it in other fields too, where there's certain fields that have been kind of looked at as, oh, these fields are for women. You take a field like nursing, right? But you see slow and steady more men choosing to pursue fields of nursing, and that percentage continues to tick up. It's not 50% yet, but they've done a lot of work to try to attract everyone to the nursing field. And I think that we have a lot of work to do in construction, manufacturing, skilled trades to try to attract everyone to these fields because they are certainly terrific careers.
Mhm.
Engineering too, engineering as well. Boy, there's a dearth of women and people of color in that field as well.
Sure. And you talked about working with employers. Do you also have partnerships with any of the trade unions?
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of our students, join unions after they graduate. There are union representatives who work on our program advisory teams. We have faculty who teach here at our college and are still members of a trade union. So we have a lot of connections with unions as well.
Hmm. Anything else you care to highlight any new programs, anything else that,
Yeah, I'll give you an example of kind of how we're different in a way that I feel like we're a very agile college. We change with the times as kind of industry needs change. And I'll give you the best example I have lately. Um, so cybersecurity is a program that we had at the college, and we were training in much the same way as a lot of other cybersecurity programs and stuff. It's a bachelor's degree. It's a +2 program that sits on top of a 2-year program. So you go for 2 years, you get your web applications degree or your networking degree or something like that, associates, and then you can move into that 2-year cyber program. And it's set up similarly to other colleges. And it was a focus on data security because that's what the focus of cybersecurity has been since cybersecurity was needed, was securing data. So colleges secure student data and employee data. Hospitals secure patient data, employee data. Data security is what cybersecurity has been about. Well, in the past 10 years, there's been a change, and a lot of systems have been put on networks that didn't used to exist on a network. For instance, if I'm at a wastewater treatment plant, it used to be that there was an air gap, that I had to actually physically be at that wastewater treatment plant to access the wastewater treatment systems. Same for a manufacturing facility. I had to be at the factory to access the manufacturing line. I'd be at Dunwoody to access our heating and cooling system and access our thermostats and to access the commercial heating and cooling we have here. Well, that's all changed. All those systems now have been put on networks. COVID really kind of ramped that up too, because they wanted people to be able to, from their phone, access, whatever system was happening, whatever process was happening, wherever they were. So what happened there is that a lot of those systems are protected by the password of the director of maintenance for that facility, for instance. There's one password so theoretically a bad actor, they don't necessarily have to get even to our student data, our employee data to be a bad actor. They could just shut down our heating and air conditioning system over a break. That would do damage, Yeah. So that's that sort of thing where these systems now need to be secured. Well, the great thing is at Dunwoody, we have an HVAC program, we have manufacturing programs. So we have a lot of these processes and systems. We have these labs set up already. So let's connect our cybersecurity program to the labs and actually teach students how to secure these operating systems. And that makes them even more marketable because now they can go into IT departments and say, I have experience not only in securing data, but securing operating systems, right? We can set up red team, blue team exercises where they're able to try to, some part of the students are trying to get in, the other students are trying to keep them out. A lot of kind of fun activities, but really educational activities to train students on how to be better at their jobs when they enter that cybersecurity field. So it's, I think it's a really strong way of the way that we respond to industry, and we were able to get those changes made, entire facilities built, a whole cyber range built within a period of 2 years. There aren't a whole lot of other colleges out there that could stand up that type of a change to a program with labs, new spaces, all of those things from conception to actually delivering that to students within that short time period. There's a lot of colleges, there are a lot of structures in place that keep change slow. Here we are far more agile, and I think that our students benefit for it, and I think industry benefits for
yeah, that's amazing when you talk about cybersecurity and things of that nature. These are things that Mr. Dunwoody could have hardly imagined when he founded
it. That's
college
so true.
110 years ago. And yet at that time, as you mentioned, there was a need for tradespeople,
Yep.
people to work. So some things have remained consistent for all these years, but there are always new things that come up.
Yeah,
So
it's so interesting, surveying was one of our first programs, and it's an old trade. Surveying is Abraham Lincoln was a surveyor. Before he was a lawyer, he was a surveyor.
George
And
Washington.
yeah, and so it's an old trade in America. The thing about surveying is we still need them, and we're desperate for them. And there are construction jobs that can't start because they can't find a surveyor to get out and survey the area because there's in such demand. And so these are some careers that we just have to do a better job as industries and as colleges to talk to high school counselors about, like, that's a fantastic career. The amount of the salaries that surveyors start at, sometimes they get starting bonuses just because there's in such demand. And if you like to be outside and you want to work on a small team and you want things to change every day, I mean, I can think of a better job. So
Amazing. Yeah. I'll mention that to my 14-year-old son, surveying.
yeah,
But that's a good field to consider.
it is.
Well, thank you for your time, Scott. Really enjoyed chatting with you. Any final thoughts before I let you go?
Just get to our website, dunwoody.edu, and it's easy from there. Come out, see the college, come to an open house, meet the faculty. That's another thing. Our faculty here at the open house, you get to meet the people who are going to be teaching your classes. It's not just an admissions rep. And then our admissions reps are great. Nothing against our admissions rep, but when you come to an open house, you'll meet faculty here, which is terrific too. So yeah, just get on there, and we'll have somebody reach out to you, and you can come see the college and see for yourself what great things we're doing here.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your time and nice chatting with you. Hopefully, we can talk again soon.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.